Hello and welcome to another My Life in Objects. So usually with My Life in Objects I tend to feature non-Magic the Gathering related stuff. But as I was going through various books this morning deciding what to film, I stumbled across this book again, and it's just such a lovely book. I'm just going to do another video about it. I know I did a video I think when I originally got it, but I want to give it a My Life in Objects look through, which is a nice extended look through. We'll go through the whole book, we'll talk a little bit about it. I've managed to keep it in really nice condition. I'm going to try really hard not to mess up the spine of the book when I do this flip through. I mean, I bought it as new, so it was new old stock, and I'm not sure specifically when I bought it. It was a good few years ago, but it was certainly bought well after it was published. I think Wizards issued a number of these. I'm not sure when they stopped. I have seen variations of this as recent, well I say as recent as, I did see a similar Shards of Alara one. So I don't know if they were doing it all the way through till Shards of Alara. I'm not sure. If anybody knows a bit of the history around these books, let me know in the comment section, because I'd be really interested. I only picked up this one. I do have another book that covers a different set, but it's an unofficial release, and it doesn't have the nice artwork in it that this does. So when did this come out? It was originally, I did see it, 1997 is the copyright on this. It's another, is it a Beth Moursund book? Yeah, with an introduction by Henry Stern. So if you're familiar with Beth Moursund's work, she was a columnist for the Duelist, but also has done a number of other books, the official strategy guide and it says here the official guide to Portal as well. So yeah, was heavily involved in the rules side of things as well. Okay, so you can see here we've got overview of Tempest, heroes, villains and ships, card analysis, and then Tempest cards. So when you get to that section, I think what happened over time is a lot of what was in that section for later sets often, initially turned up in what were fat packs when they first came out, and then went on to be bundles, and you remember they always had the encyclopedia in them. So this bit here, the Tempest cards, is very reminiscent of that encyclopedia. This is that sort of slightly earlier version, really. So I'm going to flick through this slowly because there's some really interesting of its time artwork, which is really cool. It always makes me smile. And so it just goes through the main characters, the ships, I think, which is the Weatherlight and the Predator. And then we get this interesting card analysis. So it just literally goes through, and for each of the cards discusses the strengths, weaknesses and uses for each Tempest card. However, only time will tell what the total impact of Tempest on tournament will be. As we know with Magic cards, it takes a while sometimes for people to actually work out how to use certain cards, or that just their uses get discovered, their interactions get discovered as other things are released. But also sometimes stuff that might seem powerful from an initial perspective just doesn't seem to pan out, or maybe just doesn't turn up in tournament decks. So it is interesting how they've kept the card analysis separate from the actual card images, as you'll see in a moment. Apart from what they've also done is included some artwork here, just the artwork. Of course you can see we've got Slivers here and Douthie. Diabolic Edict was in this set. Oh yeah, Slivers. Reader. It's funny whenever I look through these earlier sets, particularly I suppose starting with Tempest, because I think that's really, well, they'd had the block structure before that, hadn't they, with Mirage, and before that there was that sort of hobbled together Ice Age, which wasn't really a block, it was like retrofitted. I believe like Mirage was first in terms of block design, but I feel they really started to get into the swing of things with the Tempest block. But when I look back at this, I think, oh yeah, I need to go. I've probably done 2 passes now through Tempest in the different, set musings and deck musings, but I feel like I still have another pass through in me with a lot of this earlier stuff in terms of a sort of I don't know, fun with scryfall stuff. Where I pick specific, card types like, destruction or removal, generally, and bombs, and slice it through that way using scryfall. But we'll see. Get onto the multicoloured stuff. Nice to see some of the land artwork, as always. I know it's a bit of a running joke on the channel about my affinity for the big things that long-term viewers of the channel know that I seem to gravitate all towards is land artwork, probably more specifically basic land artwork, but really any land artwork. Artifacts, for some reason, I have affinity for artifacts. And the third thing, I don't know what it is about elementals as well. I think somewhere I have a 5-colour elemental deck, although it's not my own build. It was one I grabbed off the internet. So here we are, we're into the actual card encyclopedia section, really, where you get to see all the artwork side by side. And this is something is very much copied from the encyclopedias that they did, where they went through multiple sets, where it also lists the previous versions as well. So you can see what it's been reprinted from, and then in this version you can see TE for Tempest. They weren't using the full abbreviation, was it 3-letter abbreviation for this for some reason. So with this, like TE and then the rarity. And it's interesting to look back at this period, you know. I remember in the 90s, around this time, I would have had my first personal computer I bought. We'd had a computer in the house previous to that, but it was I think a Commodore Plus 4. But when I bought the PC, that was the first time I had internet access. But I didn't really know much about Magic the Gathering back then. So I'm not sure like how big their online presence was. And so I'm assuming most people relied a lot more on these sort of publications to familiarise themselves with the sets. I mean, obviously there was things like forums and bulletin boards and groups as well, news groups. Yeah. Oh, of course, this had the medallions in it, didn't it? And Lotus Petal. Yeah, this is a cool set. Spell medallion. It's interesting how they've ordered this because they've stuck to alphabetical order by the look of things. So it sort of gives you a different slice through, doesn't it? Oops. Crack. Yeah. Sounds like the glue's starting to go a little bit, which often happens here. I never bothered to really check how many of these. I think I did an episode on the Internet Archive, and I'm trying to remember if I noticed any of these early Magic the Gathering encyclopedias cropping up on there. I probably need to revisit that. Let me know if you'd like me to do a sort of more of a computer-based episode on these series of books. Maybe I could sort of go online and see if I can track down how and do a bit of a background about this series, if indeed it was a series, and how it manifests itself in various forms. So yeah, let me know in the comments section if that's a video you'd be interested in me doing. Not that I'm going to be purchasing up the books, but I certainly have got no objections to doing a bit of online research in real time and seeing what we can come up with. That might be quite an interesting Magic the Gathering sort of supplemental video. And then we get the index at the end. Oh, and an advert for the duel list. I think I pointed out, I know there's issues of the duel list like cropping up on the Internet Archive as well. So there we have it. I hope you enjoyed that. That really has brought a smile to my face. And yeah, let me know if you'd like me to do a bit of an online research episode around these official guides. So thanks once again for watching. Bye for now. And I will definitely catch you in a future episode.